don't know anyone here and you are just coming out of mourning, a quiet wedding will do. Then, while I tend to business in Boston and Philadelphia, you can visit museums and the like. Wouldn't you enjoy that?" She pulled free from his grasp. "Mr. Hume, as I said earlier, I fear we do not suit." He heaved a long-suffering sigh. "Perhaps this business trip is best done away with." Is he putting me above his business? "Once I return, we'll marry. That will allow you sufficient time to settle in and see to whatever little matters you women consider to be so vital." He looked inordinately pleased with himself. Sidney couldn't help thinking Hume still resembled a gargoyle, cold and stone-hearted. "Mr. Hume, I'm so very sorry." "No, no," he held up his hand. "No need to thank me, Cindy dear." The butler appeared in the open doorway. He cleared his throat. "Excuse me, sir, Mr. Borland is here." "Ah, yes." Hume sketched a perfunctory bow in her direction. "You'll excuse me. I must see to this." Dismissed as though she were a cranky child in want of a nap, Sidney managed a chilly nod and headed upstairs. She tried twice now to tell Mr. Hume that she couldn't marry him. He'd ignored her concerns on both occasions and brushed her aside so he could conduct further business. She tried to be honorable. Now she'd do what she must. 5 nights later, a light pattering knock barely gave warning before Serena Hathwell let herself in. Sidney whirled around. "Aunt Serena, what are you doing up at this hour?" Serena stared at the hat boxes, trunk, and portmanteau scattered across the bedchamber. "That telegram you got yesterday, just as your father swept your mother off her feet. Hume's coming to claim you. How very romantic!" "I never imagined he'd be the type to ask you to elope. But you know what they say, still waters run deep." Romantic and Hume scarcely belong in the same breath. I cannot marry him. Sidney took what should have been her wedding gown from the ornately carved wardrobe and shoved it into her steamer trunk. "You're acting in haste." Aunt Serena pulled the yards of satin and lace from the trunk. "I tried. Marriage between us simply will not work." Censure puckered Serena's features. "Even if you feel no obligation to Mr. Hume, you made a promise. A deathbed promise. Your father, God rest his soul, must be spinning in his grave." "I promised Father I'd come to America and meet Mr. Hume. I didn't vow I'd marry him. Reflect for a moment, and you'll know I'm right." Aunt Serena's eyes widened. "Oh, my, that's right." A small measure of hope sparked in Sidney's heart. Her aunt might help her. "Father loved Mamma. He wouldn't want me to marry someone for whom I hold no affection." "These things work out. Hume has every right to believe you'll wed him after honouring your mourning period." "It makes no sense that I'd cross an ocean to wind up with the same aloof, unfeeling marriage others proposed back in England. I came seeking what Mamma and Father had, and I won't settle for anything less." Sliding a hanger back into the gown, Serena tutted. "Their marriage was unique. The time's come for you to put away childish dreams and settle down." "Since we've been in America, Hume's never once shown the slightest interest in me. I didn't expect him to quote sonnets or attend to my every whim, but you must admit his neglect has been legendary." "He's a busy man. You wouldn't want to marry a sluggard." "So busy he couldn't be bothered to meet our ship. He ignored me most of the first week, then went off and left me alone the second. If this is his concept of courtship, marriage will be desolate. And I'm already so lonely. Mr. Hume leaves a little to be desired, but what man doesn't?" Serena hung the gown back inside the wardrobe and patted Sidney's cheek. "Bridal jitters. That's all this is." "No." Sidney grabbed her hand. "Monday evening I went downstairs to make one last attempt to explain matters. I didn't realize Mr. Borland was still here. I inadvertently heard—" "You stoop to eavesdropping. Sidney!"